Whenever you're ready.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Jack from On the Spot Sports, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest and legendary filmmaker, Travis Ridgen, aka Trav4oilers. Trav, how are you?
Doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's quarantine going for you since we're in these very weird times right now?
Quarantine is good. I'm finding lots of ice still, both duck ponds, frozen ditches, lakes, rivers, puddles, and synthetic ice as well. So times are actually going pretty well considering the circumstances.
That's awesome. Just gotta get creative and just continue the grind of training. Yeah,
But if
so
you're not being creative with your training, you're gonna be falling behind.
exactly. So I know you don't like being called a YouTuber or a content creator, so what do you prefer people to call you, and why don't you like those terms?
Somebody watched the Jamie Phillips interview the other day, the roundtable.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more time with the question there.
Why don't you like being called a YouTuber or a content creator, and what do you prefer to be called?
I just think that like the terminology YouTuber is like very general. Like anybody can be a quote unquote YouTuber, just by making a video, put it up on the internet. To be a quote unquote content creator, it's business favorite word, but I don't think the word content really brings any value to the table. Like for me to produce a piece of content could be anything. You know what I mean? I could be showing you a picture, it's content. I could be showing you a selfie video, it's content. Because in my mind, I see what most people post out as content. Like I want to take things a step above that. I like going above and beyond and being creative and whatnot. And I find that I feel it almost insulting to call it content. It's a piece of film that I'm trying to produce, and it's got multiple layers to it, a lot of intricacies. So I don't like the terminology content. And as far as what my title would be, amateur hockey filmmaker. We'll go with that. Sounds kind of official.
I like that. I like that for sure. So we'll get into your YouTube stuff later in this episode. So let's get right into hockey or like hockey. So, what's like your background? Like, can you tell us like when you started, why you started, and like what teams you've been on?
Yeah. Started playing hockey when I was 4 years old. My dad took me for a skate at public skating rink, just stick and puck kind of skate. And apparently I hated it from what I was told. I was crying, screaming, I never wanted to do it again. But here we are, almost 20 years later, still doing it. So it quite wasn't that bad. So started hockey when I was 4, and I was 9 years old, going on 10, closer to 10. I had one of these like awe moments. I walked up to school bookstore, and I saw this poster of Miki Kiprusoff, in his Calgary setup in the Cup final against Tampa, and I just had this like, that's what I got to do kind of moment. Like that's the next thing. So after some convincing of the parents, that's what happened. Since then, been a goaltender for almost 14 years now, give or take. Made AAA for the first time when I was 16. Craft Junior A when I was 18. Played 3 years of Junior B. Played 1 year of college at Vancouver Island University. Say played very lightly because I never really played. And then free agent this year, but signed for next year, buddy. You can confirm it right now. You're the first to hear it. Signed for next year.
Hey, congrats! I can't wait to see the video of that.
You're not going to be seeing the video anytime soon. That's going to be it's going to be staying in the vault for a little bit.
Got a little insider view. Got a little insider view, so can't complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you spent time in the SIJHL and KJHL for juniors, with most notably the Lundar Falcons, where you played 2 seasons with them in the KJHL. What was it like playing in Lundar and playing for the Falcons those 2 years?
It's an interesting time. In Lundar, it's the first time in my life I've ever been a part of a team where guys weren't forced to show up to practice and guys wasn't willing to show up to practice, because I've always enjoyed showing up to practice. I've enjoyed skating. I've enjoyed playing. I've enjoyed working on my craft. So when you show up to practice on a Wednesday night and only 1 practice a week, and you got 5 guys, 6 guys, it's kind of hard to run any drills or run anything that would be really productive. I mean, maybe now at my point in my life and in my playing career, shall we say, I could probably do a lot more with 5 guys than what I would have been able to when I was 18, 19. But that was really eye-opening happening. Just the lack of drive to want to get better. I think in the locker room and throughout the league was a big influence on me, and I think it's very evident in the videos of like how I've always been a go-getter. I've always been I'm driven. I know that certain things need to be put into place to be successful, and I really think being around that culture and that environment and that mentality all the time played a big role in changing who I was as a person and changing who I was as an athlete, as a goaltender, for the negative side of things.
Yeah. So, what was it like? But obviously, you hate practicing when there's only like 5 guys. Like, what was your mindset on like the time at practice and stuff like that?
When do we get undressed and go and have a shower? Like, yeah, I think it was more so I live in Winnipeg, right, and I was still then too. So having to drive 2 hours to practice and 2 hours back in the -40 winter, 2 days a week for games, 1 day a week for practices, and to have 5 guys show up was like, seriously, like I know like a lot of the guys live like half an hour away or 15 away or maybe like an hour away, but like I was one of the furthest guys that was coming from a further away place, and I would always carpool like 1 or 2, maybe 3 other guys, just to kind of like save some time. I was accompanied on the way there and on the way back, but just really disappointing and frustrating when you show up to practice. It's 2 hours of effort plus just to show up to practice, and nobody can bother to show up. So it's nothing against those players, but the mindset and the culture that was embodied by that group was really disappointing.
Yeah, I feel you there, and sucks not being able to practice or like having a few to practice with, and then especially when you're driving 2 hours and the mindset's not there, team's not there. It's just unfortunate events right there.
I never minded the drive. It was more so like I'm putting in my time and my effort. Like, why isn't everybody else putting in, pulling in their share of the pie, right? But,
yeah, exactly. So, was there anything like you learned that year in Lundar for like as like a goalie perspective?
Goalie perspective, I would say starting to realize thinking the game more than anything. I don't think I was ever taught or shown or instructed how to really think the game from a critical thinking standpoint or an athletic standpoint. And I think that playing in front of a team that is very loosey-goosey as far as structure goes and defense goes, it started changing my perception because I'm going from, playing AAA where, I was able to put up a 9-10, 9-15 save percentage, not because I was great, but because a lot of structure and a lot of systems behind it. I wasn't a great AAA goaltender, but I had good structure in front of me. To now where it's basically an all-star game and I'm getting pumped, putting up like an 840 save percentage and a 6 goals against, wondering why is this happening to me? Then you start thinking, okay, well, clearly I am the problem because if you're giving them 6 goals a game, you can't blame the defense on every one of them. And that kind of started the critical thinking of, okay, well, there's things that have to be changed if I'm going to reduce these numbers down. And talking to the goalie coach, doing a little bit of critical thinking myself, thinking on my feet, reading the game, kind of seeing things come firsthand. I started to really change the way that I saw the game and that I'd never seen the game before. So that's, I would say, probably one of the biggest things that came out of that time, that period.
Yeah, that's something really good to take out of like the time you had like in Lundar and like the structure wasn't there. So that's at least something good to take away from that situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So who would you say was your biggest rivalry when you're playing there, and how much fun were those games to play in? It seemed like there was so much energy, and it was so much fun to play in those games from your videos.
The St. Malo games were definitely fun. What's kind of funny is so the whole idea of the vlog kind of came up as it evolved from the video reviews, and it also evolved from like nobody broadcasts our games. There's no recordings of our games, so I was like, oh, fuck, it'd be really kind of cool to film our games and like have something to watch after we share people. A couple of years back from now, go look back and be like, yeah, Junior B was sick, or something like that. So I think our games up north, the games that I never got on film were always the funnest. And I think that has been bothering with the GoPros. I think guys are a lot more natural, a lot more loosey-goosey. And I think, too, that it brought out the rivalry in the game. Like St. Malo, from watching the videos, you would easily say it was our biggest rivalry, and I would say it was. I would say though the Winnipeg Satellites was a huge one. Selkirk, I don't think did we ever get Selkirk. I think I got Selkirk on for one video. That was probably a huge one as well. Really, really, really big one. Because I think before I came into the league, I think they had knocked us out of playoffs like 3 years in a row. And then St. Malo knocked us out 3 years in a row when I came in there. Funny how that works, but I'd say those are probably our biggest rivals.
Yeah, it just seems like you were having so much fun. You're also chirping a lot, which is so that's like going in my next question. As we've seen in the vlogs. Shit, I can't speak today. You're a big chirper. What was the best chirp you've ever had?
Best one I ever had. Try to keep myself a little more under wraps these days, just because I don't like taking the heat online, and try to be more presentable, shall we say. I think there's also time and place for it, like just based on like a focus perspective. I think it's funny. I've always been like that. I've always been that way, but I never realized how bad it sounded until I put the videos up online. And I'm watching it back a couple months after the season. I'm thinking to myself, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that was a poor idea. You don't realize at the time because I'm a fierce competitor, man. Like all I want to do is win. I don't care how or why or what I got to do to do it. I want to win at all costs. Well, almost all costs. But I don't know if there's a best one. I think they're all just little like chippy little comments that just kind of like just keep piling on top of the other and kind of snowball. And that's kind of the goal. They don't really have to make sense. They just have to bug you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like you. I'm a really fierce competitor, and like I'll just say whatever I want on the ice. And looking back at it, I'm like, oh, I probably should not have said that, but it's in the middle of the game.
Life choices right there.
Go with the flow.
Sometimes you do, my friend. Sometimes you do.
Yeah, for sure. So after your 2 years in Lundar, you went to the Arborg Ice Dogs for a season. What was that experience like playing in Arborg and facing your old team throughout the season, like the structure of like Arborg and all that?
Yeah, it was a lot better. I've never talked about this on film. I've wanted to talk about it on film, but I haven't gotten around to it. So over the summer, after my second season in Lundar, a lot of talks with our GM about if things aren't going to change the team, we're not going to have guys actually showing up to practice. Basically, I want it to be run like a team, not like a beer league team or not like some side hobby that some rich guy owns and guys come and skate. I want to be a part of a team. And I wanted to do something productive with my time because considering the time and the effort that I felt I was putting in, I didn't feel it was worth my time. And I said, if that's not going to change, I want out. I want to be traded. I don't want to play here anymore. And they weren't very happy about that, even the slightest. So they sat my ass for about 2.5 months to start the year. I sat September, I sat October, and I sat half of November. I don't know why November. For whatever reason, they decided, hey, we'll throw them a bone, trade me to Arborg. And it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. You walk into a locker room and junior B hockey isn't going to be junior A in the sense of like how serious and dedicated guys are, just how it is. But coming in and having a little bit of a purpose, having a coach for the goal, having a coach for the purpose, having players that genuinely wanted to be there and enjoyed being there. And we wouldn't have a full lineup for practice every night, but we wouldn't be having 5 or 6 guys. I'll tell you that. I think the lowest we might have had one night. And I think it was because there was a snowstorm with like 5 or 6 guys, which is understandable. But for the most part, we were probably packing about 12, 15-ish plus guys practice. So a lot of productivity. We were skating twice a week there for practices for about I think 2 hours. So that was nice as well. Guys who wanted to win, guys who showed up on time, and guys who had some form of structure in their routines. Part of the deal in the trade was that I wasn't allowed to play Lundar. I was never allowed to step on the ice against them. Come playoff time, we ended up matching up against them, and I didn't play the first game, and I think we got spanked that night. I can't remember, but anyway, got thrown in for game 2, got the W. Thrown in for game 3, 40 Steve Cusack. Thanks for coming. How are you? And then we got spanked in game 4, and then game 5, I think I put up 50 saves, 2-1 loss, career done.
Wow.
What a way to finish off it.
Yeah. What was it like playing like in that playoff game against Lundarn. Like, do you have like a lot of do you have friends still on that team, or like were they like
I would
chirping?
use the term friends very loosely. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
As far as the games go, which game are you talking about? Like a certain game or the whole series?
The whole series.
Uh, I'd say the whole series for me was just kind of like a coming out party of like, hey, like I did a lot to like help the team, like when I was with them, and I felt I never got any support. And now I felt like here's my opportunity to show you. You should have kind of like maybe kind of bent over a little bit and like give me a little bit more flexibility in regard to like structuring the team so that we could do something great. Because I felt I was like, man, if we could smoke them, this would be like a nice little smirk on my face and the handshake line after. Thanks for coming, guys. Have fun golfing. But it went the other way around. So I'm a firm believer in things do happen for a reason. And the biggest reason why I wanted that trade was I wanted to play college hockey. Simply put, I wanted to play college somewhere. I wasn't really sure where. I wasn't really too informed or knowledgeable at the time of where, but I knew that was my goal. And at the end of the day, did we win a playoff series? No. Did I put up personal success numbers? Yes. I got a 920 save percentage that year. Thanks for coming. It was a great year. But I signed to play college hockey. I accomplished that goal, and that was the reason why I did all of it, and I made that happen. So at the end of the day, yes, sucks we got bounced by them in the playoffs, but the main reason why I did it is I would say a success.
Yeah. So then you went into college hockey. So like, take us through like that, like the like recruitment trips and like all that leading up to your commitment at VIU.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to give you some Easter eggs that I've never put on film before here. Is there a lot of people watching this podcast or not really?
We get like 30 to 40 views.
Okay. This is going to alter a lot of your thoughts here. So leading up to around December time, I think this is 2017, 18. Yeah, so around December, I started like firing off emails, making phone calls, texts, just trying to communicate with people. ACHA, NCAA D3, Alberta College League, BCI, U Sport, even though a lot of these teams would never give me the time of day. Just reaching out, communicating, let them know, hey, here's who I am. This is where I'm playing. This is my goals. This is what I want to do for next year. I think I can help your team. Just basic recruitment, not trying to sell myself, not trying to oversell myself, because if you oversell, nobody's ever going to come, right? So ended up getting a bunch of fielders. Adrian College offered me a recruit trip. I think that was the end of January, beginning of February-ish. It went really well, actually. I thought I did really well on the recruit trip. I thought that for the price I'd be paying for school, I don't think I was getting the same value in return, not from an academic side, but from a hockey perspective, because I'm not going there for school. I'm going there for hockey and then having to do school on top of it. Because if I wanted to, I'd do school here. I can go to a university 10 minutes away from where I am right now, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't think I was getting the value there. For VIU, I wanted to play in Canada because I knew the education was going to be cheap. I got a bunch of scholarship money, and I wanted to use that because it'd be a lot easier to use it at a Canadian university. I pitched to the coaches, you want to do a recruiting trip? And the coach says to me, oh, we've never had a recruiting trip before. We've never really had a recruit come down here before. And I said, well, why don't I come down in like a month and I'll come down for a few days, tour the campus, see the team, maybe scale the team, we'll see what happens. He's like, yeah, I guess we could do that. I don't know. You kind of tell me what you want to do and we'll make it happen. Okay, sure. So a month goes by and I couldn't get a word back from the coach. I already booked my flight, so it's about, I think, 3 or 4 days before my flight, and I like texted him, hey, is this still on? Because I booked the flight, man, and I'll come for the vacation if I have to, but I'd like to get the recruiting trip done. And he texted me, I think, 2 days out. Yeah, I got a guy who's going to pick you up from the airport at midnight. You'll stay at his place. Cool. So I'm happy that he actually texted back. And then, so the next morning, we had a goalie session. I met the goalie coach. Still talking to this day. Good guy. Sometimes we don't get along all the time, but we don't see eye to eye on everything. But he's been supportive. So if he's watching, thank you, Chris. Second day we had team practice when I was there, and the entire time that I was there, not a single member of the coaching staff showed up except for the goalie coach. So I was just thinking to myself, like, I really want to play here. It's a nice school. Like the players were actually giving me like tours, like they were taking me to classes and stuff because the coach wasn't there. Actually, none of the coaching staff were except for the goalie coach. But goalie coach took me to breakfast. Kind of gave me the rundown of the team. the players the players were like, hey, you want to come and see some of our classes? I was like, yeah, sure. I don't really know what I'm going to go see, but I'll go sit in some classes. Did that, and I ended up leaving, not meeting the coaching staff, but the owner asked if I wanted to go to breakfast. And I remember we were at, where were we at? We were at Ricky's Diner, I think. So it's like an IHOP kind of, I guess, I think in BC or something like that. And we were having breakfast, and I said to him, I said, I'd like to play here for next season, sir. And he says, oh, do you? And I said, yeah, like, you got the paperwork. I want to sign. So at no point did they offer me to sign. I kind of took the initiative myself to say, like, I want to sign. And I didn't realize the significance of the time. I just thought it was, show some initiative, and I think things were going well. Now that I look back on that, I think if I don't pull that power move and ask to sign, I probably don't sign anywhere for that season. I've probably hung up my skates at this point in time. So this is a very key, big key moment in the whole process. But we ended up going back to the rink and signing some paperwork, and boom, recruited, signed for the following season.
Yeah, that seemed like a very bold move, but it worked out in your favor to at least sign with the college team.
If anybody knows anything about me or has seen a video, I think bold would be the perfect way to describe anything and everything that I do. And I think that moment there kind of sums everything up right there.
Yeah.
There was no interest to sign me. I took it upon myself to sign me. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's put pen and paper
there. So, boldness.
Very, very bold.
Yeah, so you played a few games with VIU, I believe it was. How difficult was that season?
I played 28 minutes one game.
How was that one game?
Well, actually, I played one game in the preseason. I thought it went pretty well. I was doing really well up until I had to stop a dumping behind the net, and I can't remember. Maybe this game was on TV or whatnot. But anyway, stopped the puck behind the net for a little dumping. I heard some guy saying "leave it," and I thought it was my D-man. Turns out it was the other guy. He comes right behind me, boom, takes the puck, wraps it around, boom, thanks for coming. And I don't know if it was him or somebody, but when they scored, they were yelling at me. I wasn't filming anything at the time. I just thought it was funny. But the preseason game that happened, and then I didn't play a game the first half. First game from the second half. How did I shake down? I'm pretty positive. They gave me the one game after the first half because it started in the backup There's some combination of like guys weren't coming back in time after Christmas, so they're like, we'll throw you a bone. And came back from the break, and I was like, I think I can do this. I know I've gotten like 20 shots in practices the entire first semester, but like I think I can do it. Nope, could not do that. And I think I had a good first period. I think everything hit my chest, which is kind of nice, except for one. I think they beat me on a 2-on-1. And then second period was feeling good. They stopped shooting at my chest, and then boom, puck started going in. And we were up 5-4, and I got the yank. I got the yank when we were winning. I remember myself thinking like, never been yanked when we were winning before. That was a first. Still to this day, I don't know why. But that was basically my time at VIU.
Yeah, once the other team started not shooting at your chest, since you got the fastest chest in the league, everything went downhill.
Yeah, it went downhill fast. Actually, right before playoff time, because they stopped letting me practice about a month and a bit before playoffs. They wanted to start in the backup, take all the reps. I think 3 or 4 days before they were heading off for the, I can't remember if it was first round or second round of playoffs, but coach calls me up and says, hey, one of the guys can't make it tonight. You mind coming out for a shot? Yeah, sure. I wouldn't mind. I haven't practiced. I've been skating like a month and a half. I came out and I only had like one friend on the team the entire time I was there. It's kind of sad. Still talk to him to this day. I actually FaceTimed him yesterday. But I think it was him who says, you realize the other two guys didn't feel like showing up today. So you were like our last pinch option. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. I wouldn't mind some shots. Fine by me.
Yeah, you get ice time, so it's all that matters.
I think that there in its own right kind of summed up my whole time at VIU.
Yeah, so what was practice like since you were a third string at that time? Like what would you do like as a goalie during practice?
Oh man, I'm telling you, if there is a most challenging moment in my lifetime, not like my career, my lifetime up to this point, and like learning from, it would be practices at VIU, because for training camp we had 4 guys, we had 4 goalies, and all 4 of us would come down. We'd swap every drill to just kind of keep things fresh. But after camp and after preseason games were done, the coaches sat us down and said, "You, Trav, in our eyes, you are 3rd in the pecking order out of 4, and you're going to be practicing 1 day a week. Our 4th guy will also practice 1 day a week. Our starter and a backup will practice 2 days a week, and you'll get shots when they tell you to. So they'll tell you when they're ready for you to come take some shots, because we're only practicing 2 days a week. We practice 10 to midnight. What a time slot of practice, hey, for university."
Wow.
What was it? I think one of the guys asked, like, "Why do you practice 10 to midnight?" And I can't remember who it was. Somebody was like, "Yeah, I think it's the cheapest ice time we could find. That's why we got it." But coming to practice and only having like 10, 15 shots of practice, because I'm only allowed to take shots when I'm told to, was life-changing and game-changing for me, in the sense of, like, I'd never felt so much frustration in my life. And I think it really brought out a really poor sportsmanship and poor team player mentality, because I didn't understand how college worked. I didn't understand that this is how things work. Like I was pissed off for a long time. Like, I was so mad for the longest time, because, like, I felt in my eyes, granted, I'd asked to sign, but I felt that, I'm coming half the continent away, half the country away. I've moved my entire life over here. I've moved my girlfriend with me at the time, and I feel like I'm just getting shit on. But I didn't realize that this is the way things work, and you can shut up, continue to work, don't be noticed, and just wait for your opportunity to come, which is what right now Trav today of May 2020 would tell Trav of October of 2018, this is what you should do, and this is the way things are going to be, and if you want to listen to me, this will get you the result. But that wasn't the plan, and I think I just kind of self-destructed from there. And I remember, like, as the year went on, I felt so much built-up anger and just frustration towards the team and to the program, to the school, for all of it. And yeah, a lot of it was self-inflicted, I will say. But I remember coming home from BC, coming back home to Winnipeg, and I remember, you do the 2-day drive, then I'm out of Vancouver to Calgary, day 2, Calgary, Winnipeg. I remember coming home, sitting on my bed, and just plunking down on my bed and just thinking to myself, like, I'm not mad anymore. Like, now that I finally come home, I'm not frustrated. Like, it's just almost like the second I came home, it all went away. And I started looking at things more objectively, and I really started realizing my mistakes. And honestly, we're probably 8 months too late at this point in time. Because at this point in time, I already told the coaches, like, hey, I'm not coming back. And that's another story for another time. But I started kind of realizing my mistakes and kind of building off them from there. And although it's unfortunate, because, like, hey, like, in the bottom of my heart, like, I still would love things to work out at VIU. Like, I'm a fixer. Like, I'm a fixer mentality, and if I can, I like to fix this current situation. And I would love to go back there and fix things, even to this day. But that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. So I'm kind of thankful of the way things happen, because I've learned a lot out of it, and I think it's really shaped who I am as an athlete, as a student, and as a man. But it was definitely tough sledding for a very long time from that.
Yeah, that was a awesome story you shared. What was the biggest thing that you think you learned that season? Like, the biggest?
Oh my God. I think everything is the biggest thing. I learned how to. I didn't learn at the time. I learned it more, like, reflecting, like, when I came home. Like, I feel like I actually learned a negative amount of things, like at the time when I was there, because I just kind of kept self-destructing, getting frustrated the entire time that I was there. Looking back now, I think it's kind of taught me, like, what goes into college hockey and the way things work, and that I wanted to be day one, take over that starting gig and kind of be the guy and run with it. I didn't get it. And although I had a couple other factors and variables coming in that weren't helping, I create a lot of my own problems. And I understand now that college is a process. We're talking 4 to 5 years, a lot of patience, and that at the end of the day, being a third guy isn't the end of the world. And it's actually not a bad thing. It's probably actually a good thing, because it makes you appreciate your time a lot more. It makes you appreciate the reps, makes you appreciate the grind, because when that opportunity does come as a part of the chase, shall we say, chasing that goal, it's going to be really rewarding and really worth it, right? Yeah. I think a lot of good habits are built in practice to translate into games. And I think that's why I'm looking forward to next year. I'm way more open minded to being a third string goalie. But like I actually embrace the mentality of third string goalie, like depending on obviously where I'm playing. Like this could be really good for my development if it's at a decent level, right? Or even like a second string, a backup guy. So being able to appreciate that, being able to deal with, let's say, interesting teammates, interesting mantras and personalities, shall we say, to put it nicely. And to be able to take that and try to make the best of a situation, because I did not make the best of it. And I think also balancing the school schedule with a little bit of hockey, although I was only skating 1 day a week. Sometimes it kind of became a little pain in the rear end when we were skating a lot in the preseason. So I learned a little bit from that. And that was basically it. Just overall, I learned how to be a better teammate walking away from things, I think.
Yeah, so if there was something you could redo about being at VIU, would it be that being a better teammate for your team?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing it boils down to. I think of myself a lot, and obviously you like to go back and kind of change things. But if I could go back and redo one thing in my career as of this point in time, I would sit myself down a day or two before I left for Vancouver Island, like sit myself down and say, listen, buddy, this is the way things are going to work. You're not going to like it. You're not going to get a lot of practice time. You're not going to be in a situation you're going to like. You're not going to agree with a lot of things that the coaches are saying and doing. It's how it is. Shut up and work hard. Don't say anything. Don't shoot your mouth off. Be quiet. Don't even let people know you're there. Just try to let people know you don't exist, right? And when you do a good job, then you'll be noticed and things will go well. And to be honest, looking back now at the way things went this season at VIU, there's no doubt if I went back for a second year, I had that starting gig. I would have been the starter or at least a backup worst case scenario for this year if I would have stuck around, right? Considering a couple of things that we won't talk about on the podcast, but looking at that was like the final nail in the coffin of like, okay, I fucked up. There was a lot of things that I could have done better, and although I can't fix it, I'm going to take that. I'm going to implement that wherever I play next. I think it's going to help me a lot.
Yeah, so it seems like you're taking like all these experiences from VIU and pushing it towards like your next college season for the better, which is
dude, the man, the goalie, the student, the athlete that I was in August of 2018, leaving for VIU versus now. I don't see any similarities. I don't see a single similarity. I think things are so much more different now.
That's awesome that it's going the right direction.
Hopefully.
So now you're looking to get back into playing college hockey, and you, like you said earlier, you signed with the team. And I know you've been working your ass off every single day to get a spot for next fall. So how's that coming along, especially with this whole COVID-19 stuff coming into play? Like, what's your mindset for going into next season and expectations for next year?
Well, first off, I've been told by my agent, who I have an agent working for me now, and big props to him who's been getting stuff done for me. He's been really working hard behind the scenes. I've been advised not to mention the team, whether it's college or pro or league or whatnot, but what I will say is there's offers, and I'm going to be playing next year. There is no doubt about that. What was the question again? I just want to get that out of the way first.
Like, what have you been doing for like training wise, and like what's your mindset like?
Yeah. Are we talking about just like with the pandemic or like since like September, August-ish of this year?
We go since September of August.
Yeah. Well, I spent all last off season, like from when I came home from VIU to like September-ish, really kind of trying to push myself to become a different athlete and a better goaltender, trying to crash that University of Manitoba Bison spot. Skated with them all summer. I thought things went really well. At the end of the day, like the coaches didn't think that I was quite there, which is fine. I learned a lot from that. Watching guys who have played in the East Coast for a couple of games, have played in the SB, they played in the Western League. Like these guys, like even D1, like these guys have played real hockey. They've been around real teams with real athletes, real competitors at a real school for a real team. And I can't tell you, I think I learned more in the 2.5 months of skating at the U of M with the Bisons than I learned the entire year at VIU, probably my entire career previous to that. Because I'm at this point, I'm in a culture, both we work out after every skate and we skate for an hour and a half or an hour. I can't remember what it was, but we skate hard, right? And we skate 5 days a week. Like, this is balls to the wall, right? And that shaped my thinking process and how I saw competitive hockey moving forward. And I saw, okay, you want to be successful? You want to get the job done for being a third string guy, which is what my role would have been, I think, third string. This is what it's going to take. And this is what I should have seen earlier. And so when I got gassed, I got injured going into Columbus. I had a knee injury. I actually haven't talked about that, but oh man, trying to nurse that knee injury while in camp. I saw a lot of comments from the videos, people saying, "Wow, Trav didn't look like himself. It looks like he's almost compensating, or this wasn't himself. Didn't look comfortable." Tried playing in training camp, skating twice a day, one game, one practice with a knee injury. It will change your life. Changes who you are as a person too. Really pissed off because your knee's always bugging you. But when I came back, I sat on my trainer. To be honest, at that point in time, I changed playgrounds, changed playmates in regards to trainers, coaches, who I was trying to surround myself with as far as influences wise go, like positive or negative influences go. And just thinking to myself, if there's one thing that I've learned from Steve McKeegan, formerly goalie coach, who coached Eddie Belfour for the longest time, there's one thing I picked up from that is that Eddie Belfour was a guy who, if you could contribute to his game and give him some form of benefit, he would be your best friend in the world. He would give you all the time of day and would do anything you asked of him because you're helping him. The second you stop contributing to that, cut you off, see you later. And some people may refer to that as being manipulative or using somebody. I saw that as, this is the mentality I have to implement to my game if I want to be successful, because time is very delicate right now. We have a very small window where we need to put a lot of results and work into. And I can't afford to be having negative people around, negative influences, pessimistic people. Like, I want positive. I want to be told what I can do. I don't want to be told what I can't do. Right. And so having Steve McKeegan be my, I guess, closest to full-time guy, because it's kind of hard to be a full-time student of somebody when you live like 2,000 kilometers away. But having him being a big mentor who's played in the national, coached in the national, scouted in the national, that was huge for changing my perspective on the game itself, my thinking process. I think having a trainer that I've also demanded that he be open-minded. You know, my trainer, you see in the videos, he's always having his McDonald's coffee whenever we're working out, Brian. But he's never trained hockey players before, or goaltenders. But I told him, I said, if you're going to be training me, you need to be open-minded. You need to be finding new avenues. And when I bring somebody to your attention, damn right, so you're going to take that into consideration. We're going to implement that and change around that. And he's been really good about that too. So since that time, the last 8 months, give or take, since I got cut from Columbus or sent home or whatever you want to call it, I think that they've been very mentally changing in regards to my work habits and my work ethic, nutritional training, on ice, thinking, mindset, all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. I think the pandemic probably might be the best thing for my career and for my development, because obviously I've been sitting on my ass at home. Well, not sitting on my ass, but like I haven't been playing anywhere real since November, right? Like I've been playing senior hockey since then. I'm practicing in a couple of games, but I haven't actually been on the team. And so now for the last 2 going on 3 months, everybody else is now kind of in the same boat that I was in. And I've had a head start in the off season. Like our workout programs have since end of December, middle of December, like that was the start of my off season, right? Out getting all these reps in. Like I'm 6 months into my off season now, 5 months into my off season, and people are struggling to find ways to train and skate. So I think the pandemic, although it's annoying, I hate being at home all the time, it probably is the best thing. Looking at it now, I think for my development, kind of like level the playing field though.
Yeah, I love how you said like surrounding yourself with people that believe in you and like that are like that pretty much just believe in you. Because like I'm in the same situation, because I want to do what you're doing, try to go pro, yeah. And you need those influencers and positive people in your life. And this quarantine has definitely been it's a blessing. Like I know
I filmed the video yesterday. Sorry to cut you off there. But, I've seen so many questions in the comment section, emails. Like I'm getting like 12 messages a day of people saying, Trav, I'm in quarantine. I don't have access to ice. I can't afford synthetic tiles. Is everything going to be okay? What do you suggest? and people are making excuses. And yeah, don't get me wrong, hockey is expensive. If you don't got money, you can't play hockey, and it's as simple as that. And to anybody listening, I'm sorry if it breaks your heart. If you don't have money, you can't play hockey. You need money to play hockey. But for those people that are saying, I can't find ice, I can't find synthetic tiles, the gyms are closed, woe is me, my life sucks, and they're going to make excuses of, oh, quarantine made me fat, quarantine made me lazy. No, you were always lazy. You always had shit work ethic and you had shit dieting habits. It just took you staying home for 3 months being cooped up to finally break and to give in to those habits. The people that are truly disciplined are going to come out of the pandemic on top, and they're going to be almost unaffected. Everybody's going to be affected a little bit, but I think the people that are truly disciplined are going to come out on top, and the people that got no discipline and all that kind of stuff, you're done.
Yeah, like so I created like a like a program for me, and I've been doing like every day for the past 2 months that we've been in quarantine. Already I feel like I'm going to be a better goalie than I was when I first left the ice 2 months ago.
Absolutely. And I think too, considering that the amount of free time everybody has in their hands and the limited resource, I mean, unless you got like a tennis ball machine like Bob and you're firing tennis balls at you from your backyard in your $10 million home, the more creative you get, I think the better. Like if you can get seriously creative with your training habits and what you're doing, well, sky is the limit here because it's all creative. Like you have literally nothing. The mentality that I'm taking and that I think everybody else should be taking is you're taking garbage and you're trying to turn it into gold. How do you do that? It's got to be creative.
Yeah, exactly. So you have you train with Steve McKitchen, former Toronto Maple Leafs goalie coach, along with many others. So, like, explain like your relationship with Steve and how he's developing your game throughout this time.
How do I describe the relationship with Keeps? There's a lot of ways I can describe our relationship. Crazy guy. I would say our relationship is more of the mentoring standpoint. You know, Steve isn't a game-changing goalie coach. He isn't a guy who's got these crazy techniques that a lot of these Euro guys have. I would describe Steve almost as a cleanup goalie coach, just cleaning up the game, simple things, which is what an NHL goalie coach is. They're not game-changing a lot. They're just cleaning up any little mistakes or spills along the way, which I think I needed in my game. But I think he's been more of a mentor in the perspective of, we're going to set the ball up on the tee for you, right? This is how the game works. All you got to do is stroke it. Just listen to what I'm telling you. Go out and do it kind of setup, right? And I think that was big because I've never had a goalie coach or a mentor in my life or in my career that's truly played the game. You know, like I think you can't learn about the next level unless you go from somebody who's been there, done that, or you've done it yourself. So let's say you're a junior B goalie and you have a goalie coach who hasn't played junior A, or you have a goalie coach who hasn't played D1, or you have a goalie coach, any of those levels. Everything you're going to be learning is firsthand until that mentorship and that mentality and that leadership comes in from another place, right? So you need to surround yourself with people who have been there, done that, to guide you on that journey. It's very, like, from what I've been able to uncover, few people ever have gone the distance all through firsthand experience. You had to be mentored along the way by knowledgeable people and given insight along the way.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like how you said that, and what do you? And I really like how Steve is like. Since I watched all of your videos, like I really like how Steve said that like he doesn't really like change anything. It's just like focusing on like reps and like focusing on like the technique side, I guess you could say. Does he do that a lot with you?
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is Steve gets grilled in the comment section anytime I post a video with him. People calling, you know, this guy sucks. This guy coaches in the NHL. He isn't doing anything. He's just getting you to do T-pushes and doing backside recoveries. Well, if you want to really think about it, like, what's the sloppiest thing about my game right now? The minor shit. There's no glaring details in my, like, I would say in my game, there's no glaring details. They're like, this needs to be fixed. It's just little teeny weeny shit that just keeps piling up like a big snowball, and then into the big picture. And I think Steve is imperfect for that. It sucks that I can't work with him on a more consistent basis because, again, we're so far away. And also with the pandemic and traveling restrictions and ice time. But I think it's been game changing, that mentality. And I think a lot more people should be open minded to that mentality of almost like a cleanup goalie coach. My goalie coach outside Winnipeg that I've been working with too, you've seen a lot of the videos recently, Guy St. Vincent, he's the same mentality. Very, very cleanup. nothing groundbreaking, nothing game-changing, nothing too revolutionary. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just cleaning up some minor spills along the way. We're just trying to polish things off here.
Yeah, Steve seems like a great coach, a great goalie coach to have, and a lot of good times with him that I've seen on your videos.
You know, what's funny is he's a great coach. I don't think people realize how cool of a guy and how fun of a guy he is to hang out with. Like, I remember thinking to myself back in November after I left for meeting Steve, and I thought to myself, I could do like one-on-ones with Steve for the rest of my life. This is actually a pretty sweet gig. Unfortunately, that's not the deal. That's not what's going to happen. But he's a fun guy to hang out with and to talk to.
Yeah, for sure. So, so throughout your times playing juniors, you've had a lot of pretty cool opportunities to present themselves, like the LA Kings E-Bug tryout, your pro tryout with the Birmingham Bulls of the SP, and then the Columbus River Dragons of the Federal. So even though you didn't quite make the team, besides for Columbus for a little bit, what was it like having those opportunities to come up?
People talk about that LA Kings tryout all the time. I won a contest. Right? It's no different from like you and I going up to the state fair, you know, getting one of those pellet guns and shooting the bullseye and winning a teddy bear. Same thing. Although we're talking a very small bullseye and a very far range shot. So winning that contest was interesting. It changed my YouTube career, to be honest with you, because I remember at the time I probably had, I think, 17, 18,000 subscribers, give or take, at the time. And I remember I applied. I didn't apply seriously. I just applied to say, hey, like, yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind like a new Tinder profile picture, like wearing a Kings tarp, or, you know, give me a Kings J or something, right? And I get the email one night, hey, coming out tomorrow, skating in 2 days. And so I bought a last minute plane ticket. I booked my flight like I think 2 hours before my plane left. Like, it was an absolute last minute ticket. And I checked in, go to the bags of security, and I sit down at the gate, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck am I doing? I just spent $800 on a round trip to LA to go for a stupid skate. Like, I'm in university this time, or college this time, like taking some business courses. You know, I'm missing a couple of days of skating with Arborg, because I went to Arborg's training camp, although I was still in Lundar. A little inside tip nobody knows about. But I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? I'm spending this money, spending this time. Whatever. I'm already at the gate. I've already checked in. I can't get my bags back anyway because they're already in the plane. I'll go do it. I go and do it. And I thought at the time, I was like, this video might put up 8, maybe 10, maybe 9, 10,000 views. I don't think it's going to do really well. Like, I think it's just going to be another, like, just a maintenance video to kind of keep people interested. And I remember I put it up. What time did I put it up at? I put it up late at night. I put it up at like a 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. one night. Wake up in the morning, it's sitting around 5,000 views or whatever. Not a really big video. Go to school. Lunchtime, I check my phone. We're sitting 50,000 views. I'm like, holy. And I go back to school, come home in the afternoon, go to the gym, leave the gym around 5 at night. The video was popping off at almost 500,000 views. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what happened? Like, what happened here? I thought 5,000 views, not 500,000, right? Before you know it, the Kings had posted the video, the NHL had shared the video. The video was just taken off online. It forever will be, it has and forever will be the greatest video I ever produced from a viewership standpoint. Like, I'll never crack a video over 1 million views ever again. To conceptualize, I made a YouTube video and it hit over 1 million views. This is insane. I still can't grasp it to this day. And to be honest, I think it might be the biggest viewership, like on a viewership basis, like the most viewed original goalie video ever put up on the internet. I think I could be wrong on that, because you look at any other video I put up, I've touched 200,000, I've touched 300, maybe almost 400,000 views once or twice. Touched 100,000 a couple of times. I've never touched over 500,000. I'll never touch 1 million, right? So it's crazy how game changing that was. And I remember I pocketed probably 12,000 subscribers in about 3 days, 2-3 days. So to watch the numbers just go was insane. Like, I dedicated the last 3 years of my life on YouTube to building, or 4 years of my life to build 17, 18,000. And I just almost got that in 2-3 days.
That's insane. But it must have felt good when you saw that when he went.
It felt good, and the crazy thing too is he got me my sideline swap deal. Like that is what got the sideline swap deal set up and got the ball rolling on all these other deals and all that kind of stuff. And you know what's funny too? I talked about the videos a couple of times. I remember when I was first starting doing like the video reviews, and I remember I reached out to every company, every store you could think of. Hey, can you send me some stuff? Like, I want to do reviews. And I got told by even Bauer, this is stupid. Like, this is insane. This is not going to work. This will never succeed. This isn't going to take off. Nobody needs original reviews. Like, companies do reviews, all that kind of stuff, or whatever. And yeah, it's evolved a lot since then. But where am I at now, Bauer? That's what I thought. Still doing this. So
that's crazy. And you didn't think you wanted to go to or you didn't think you were going to this tryout, and you did, and this all happened. It's crazy.
It was a life-changing event. I would also say on the fact that it enabled me to make some pretty good dough off that video, and it got me the swap sponsorship. It basically opened up a whole new world and a whole new realm of opportunity financially for me, and that helped kickstart kind of the whole like playing college process, because now I have this money coming in from playing hockey and skating that I can reinvest into skating and continuing more, and it kind of developed into the mentality now of skating and working out is my full-time thing. But it was life-changing, that tryout. And although to this day I can't watch that video anymore, I get too much secondhand embarrassment from watching the video. And I loathe that video. I wish I could take it down. I'm so embarrassed by it, but people like watching it, and it was a life-changing moment.
Yeah, for sure. So you signed last year with Columbus for like a few weeks, right?
Oh boy, here we go.
So what was that like? And I heard from Jamie's podcast that you spent a lot of time at your at Golden Corral, I believe it was.
Yeah, we had meal tickets for Golden Corral and Pizza Hut in Columbus. That was fun. You think, even though we're not true pro athletes, you'd think semi-pro athletes would get fed a little bit better than Golden Corral and Pizza Hut, where I struggled to find vegetables on a daily basis. Like, just to find them, let alone eat them. But Columbus was interesting. The GM/assistant coach attended the Birmingham free agent camp and sat beside me in the locker room. And I remember, I'm a pretty social guy when it comes to being in a locker room. Like, I'm not a people person outside of hockey, but
you're a locker room guy.
Sorry?
You're a locker room guy.
Yeah, I like being a part of the boys, shooting the shit, tossing a couple trips. I like having a good time socializing in the room. And this guy sitting beside me, yeah, hey, how you doing? Where you from? Where'd you play? Blah, 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 all that kind of like normal stuff you ask a guy. And after what, he started asking these like really, really like off-putting questions of like, you narc? Like no real teammate or anybody you're friends with would ask this kind of questions, right? So I kind of get in that vibe. And then at the end of the camp, he's like, hey, I'm going to be the assistant GM or whatever it was for the Columbus new team. If you're interested, let's make it happen. Let's sign, sure. So I ended up signing for the year. Right after I got gaps from the University of Manitoba. Like, here's a ticket. You want to come play? Yeah, sure. So I signed for the year and came down, and we had a guy drop down from the SB, and this guy was nasty. He was pretty filthy. And I knew, seeing him skate first day, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to be going home next week sometime. This worked out great. I just got played D1 for like 4 years. He was nasty. So there's no way I was sticking around. But that was basically, in a nutshell, my experience in Columbus.
Yeah, so I know you have to get going soon, but going back to your channel really quick, you upload 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 a.m. Central. And I saw recently that you were taking shots outside of MTS Place, and you're getting a ton of media coverage. Police and security were willing to help run screens for you. What was that like time like getting shot on in front of Bell MTS Place, and like when you actually got like inside Bell MTS and was able to skate on the Winnipeg Jets ice?
Skating in the ice was awesome. It's shocking what the ice is like. The ice is super soft. The rink's hot. The boards are soft. Pucks don't come off very hard. It was really, really interesting and cool. It was this is my welcome to the show moment of, this is welcome to the NHL. Although I'm playing with a bunch of beer league guys and guys who work at MTS Center and work for the Jets, for North and the Moose, this is my National League moment. That was kind of cool. Standing outdoors, man, it was hot. It was like plus 17 out. I was sweating like you wouldn't believe. One of the security guys or the construction guys, you'll see they gave me a big Pepsi thing of water. All I do, I down that thing so fast, I just like dosed myself with like a gardener hose. Like it was so hot outside. Everybody was so friendly too. Like everybody was like, "Hey, do you need any help? Do you need anything?" Like it was like the most Canadian thing ever. Everybody's so friendly. And yeah, I worked on a video the other day talking about it. I think it's going up next week or the week after. But the amount of media coverage was insane. Like it was on TSN. I got featured on CTV on like a morning show. Got brought in for that. I was on the front cover of the newspaper. Did you see that too or no?
I did not.
Boom! Front cover of the newspaper. Right there.
Wow, that's
crazy.
That's sick.
That was pretty insane. Although I must say, it does come in second. I thought when I was on the second page last year, that was my coolest moment. But yeah, I gotta get these framed. They're gonna be framed one day. I've always had this like really cool idea for like a man cave kind of office setup as opposed to working out of a bedroom. But maybe that'll happen when I get a little more dough and more security as far as life goes.
Yeah. So I got a few more questions before you have to go. So
yep.
Who is someone you look up to / inspires you? It could be like hockey related or personal.
Connor Hellebuyck inspires me from a goaltending standpoint. He's my favorite goalie, hands down. I'd say from a personal standpoint, it's going to be the one a little bit out of left center field. But Casey Neistat on YouTube. If you watch any of his videos, have you ever seen any of his videos before?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, if you watch a Casey Neistat video, you'll watch it and say, okay, Trav totally ripped this off. Now it makes sense, right? Everything I make is a Casey Neistat rip off with like a hockey spin, basically. But his positive, overwhelming pro-life mentality was really inspiring for me and still inspires me to this day. I go back and watch his videos all the time, even though I'm watching videos at 3-4 years old. Just the mentality and all that stuff behind it is really inspiring. So I would say probably Casey Neistat.
I'll definitely have to go take a watch after this episode for sure. So what do you think your best asset of your game is at this moment?
Best asset? Can I say being a team player?
Go for it. Yeah.
I don't know. Being a team player, I think I'm a pretty good puck handler. I think puck handling is like a huge asset that I bring to the table. I think as my game simplifies, that's even more coming to the forefront. It's just a simple game of getting hit with pucks. Not even stopping, just getting hit with pucks.
Yeah, so last question. If you could like talk to like any like NHLer, hang out with any NHLer, who would it be?
Connor Hellebuyck, let's go for Breckie. We'll go for Breckie in the morning. It could be in Winnipeg, it could be in Palm Beach, I don't really care. We'll go for Breckie, we'll go for skate, we'll go for lunch, we'll go for a pump, we'll go for another skate, we'll go for dinner, call it a day. That's my ideal date. Although he would never give me the time of day, nor does he know who I am. But the NHL did follow me on Instagram yesterday. Not a big deal. Thanks for coming. How are you?
Big thanks for Trav.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, so for the future when you come on down the Chicagoland area, I know you're just here a few weeks ago, but if you're down, I got a challenge for you. We could do a little shootout challenge or something. I know you're all business and training wise, but I'd love to get on the ice with you and do like a fun little shootout challenge or something or something like that if you're down.
Whereabouts in Stratford?
Chicagoland area.
I'm not going to be in Chicago anytime soon, especially the borders being closed. But if the opportunity presents itself, we will regroup and we will discuss.
Yeah, for sure. So, Trav, it was an honor having the Trav4oilers on the show. I really appreciate it and wish you nothing but the best of luck going forward. And trust me, I'll be watching your video coming out tomorrow and Friday as well. So we'll definitely stay in touch. So thank you so much for coming on.
Not a problem, buddy. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.